race deck is on their out lap.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Jeevan Davis is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Jeevan Davis handles it.
You can feel the tension building. Justin is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. This is where the mental game comes into play. Taihan Van Ruyen is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
That's the outlap done for Taihan Van Ruyen. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. The adrenaline is pumping. Justin is on their outlap. As Justin completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. It looks like Jeevan Davis is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Jeevan Davis can deliver.
It's clear that Dewald Lambert is on a mission in this qualifying session. They're pushing their car to the limit. Dewald Lambert has just completed that lap in 1:20.595. Their best lap so far is 1:18.819, putting them in P4. Will they be able to hold onto that spot? There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. This is what it's all about. Jeevan Davis is putting on a show for the fans in this qualifying session. I don't know about you, but I think Wayne Mitten might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. As Justin completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. Jeevan Davis looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well, John, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Jean-Pierre Du Toit is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid. Jean-Pierre Du Toit has some work to do, as that 120.925 is only good enough for 9th.
There's still more time to be had, but I dunno if they are going to find it before the session is over.
Joost Haystack looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? Greg Hoffert is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Jean-Pierre Du Toit looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? Richard Reshka is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Ernest Heather looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Looks like Ernest Heather is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Ernest Heather is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Taihan Van Ruyen has secured a respectable 5th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
You're absolutely right, John. Taihan Van Ruyen's current position of 5th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
And there goes Wayne Mitten, currently in position 6. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Absolutely, John. Wayne Mitten has shown great potential to secure 6th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
It's an impressive showing by Joost Haystack, currently in 10th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? Joost Haystack has some work to do, as that 119.916 is only good enough for 10th. Currently in 7th, Jeevan Davis has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Great analysis, John. Jeevan Davis has shown excellent pace to secure 7th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
Disappointing performance from Jean-Pierre Du Toit in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race.
Spot on analysis, John. It's been a difficult qualifying session for Jean-Pierre Du Toit, but they shouldn't lose hope just yet. They have the talent and determination to make a comeback, and it'll be exciting to see how they respond to this adversity.
Impressive display by Joost Haystack, currently sitting in position 10. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You hit the nail on the head, John. Joost Haystack's current position of 10th is a testament to their skill and determination.
Joost Haystack has some work to do, as that 120.939 is only good enough for 10th. A strong showing from Doald Lambert as they currently sit in 3rd. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
I completely agree, John. Doald Lambert has positioned themselves impressively in 3rd. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
Doald Lambert will be happy having put themselves into 1st in this qualifying session. Ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Doald Lambert is on pole. Holding strong in 2nd place is Greg Hoffert. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Richard Reschke starting in 3rd position. As the drivers prepare to take off, Ernest Heather sits in 4th place on the starting grid.
Ernest Heather will be taking no prisoners today.
On the 5th grid slot we have Tijhan van Ruyen. The lights are off, the gloves are on, and it's go time.
This is where the real racecraft comes into play. The drivers will be looking for any opportunity to make a move and gain an advantage.
It's all about finding those gaps and making the most of them, especially in these early stages of the race.
And with so many talented drivers on the grid, you know we're going to see some incredible overtakes here in the 1st sector.
It's not just about making a move, it's about doing it cleanly and without causing any incidents. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
All the drivers will be jostling for the best position, John. Some of them may not make it to the 2nd lap in one piece.
Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here. There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is looking to get off to a good start. It's a solid performance from Joost Haystack at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Joost Haystack just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
The drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit, and it's incredible to see the level of focus and determination they're bringing to the track.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage to compete at this level, and these drivers have it in spades. Let's hope they can keep it up and give us a race to remember.
Things are heating up as Tijhan van Rooyen tries to close the gap to Wayne Midden. Looks like Peter Geldenhuys is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. It's a game of strategy now as Peter Geldenhuys hunts down Joost Haystack. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Justin will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Reschke is just a few car lengths behind Dewald Lambert. The pressure is on for Peter Geldenhuys as they try to catch up to Joost Haystack.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Peter Geldenhuys needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. This is where the race gets really interesting. Ernest Heather is closing in on Richard Reschke. Looks like that's a mistake from Tijhan van Rooyen. This could be costly. Every move counts now as Peter Geldenhuys works to reel in Joost Haystack and overtake for P7.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
The gap between Richard Reschke and Dewald Lambert is razor thin as they vie for first in this nail-biting contest. It's looking good for Richard Reschke, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Dewald Lambert.
Absolutely. Richard Reschke is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Dewald Lambert is defending for their life, but Ernest Heather is right there. Can they do it? This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Ernest Heather is chasing Dewald Lambert in P2.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
Seems like Dewald Lambert is getting in range of Richard Reschke.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble in the boundary of disaster.
The action is non-stop as Ernest Heather shadows Dewald Lambert through every twist and turn, determined to claim second.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Ernest Heather is definitely living on the edge today.
Dewald Lambert is placed second at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Ernest Heather, who is 0.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Ernest Heather to make up that gap, especially with Dewald Lambert defending so well.
Ernest Heather wants to get into dueled Lambert slipstream. It's an intense battle for position as Jeevan Davis tries to outmaneuver Justin. This is edge of your seat racing.
This battle between Jeevan Davis and Justin is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
Ernest Heather wants to close that gap with dueled Lambert. Jeevan Davis is giving it their all as they chase down Justin in P8. A great pass for Jeevan Davis as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Justin has lost ground.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Jeevan Davis needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
The battle for 2 is heating up as Ernest Heather tries to catch dueled Lambert in P2. Ernest Heather needs to get more consistent. They have just put in a slower lap than dueled Lambert.
Can Ernest Heather turn this around?
We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
The gap between Wayne Midden in 5th and Greg Hoffert remains over a second, but Wayne Midden is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 6 minutes?
This is where experience comes into play. Greg Hoffert has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Wayne Midden is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
Dueled Lambert is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Will dueled Lambert be able to make a move and pass Ernest Heather?
It's a battle of wills out there, with Wayne Midden trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? Dueled Lambert is on a mission, chasing Ernest Heather, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. It's game on now. Dueled Lambert has closed the gap to Ernest Heather. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. The tension is building as Wayne Midden trails behind Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Greg Hoffert hold on, or will Wayne Midden be able to close them down? Wow, dueled Lambert is really pushing hard to catch up to Ernest Heather. There's blood in the water for second place. The gap between dueled Lambert and Ernest Heather is growing. It's now up to 0.2 seconds.
This is a frustrating situation for dueled Lambert, but they can't give up just yet. They need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Ernest Heather.
Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at Simspeed Motorsports. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that Simspeed Motorsports really is the place to be for top-quality racing.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Dual Lambert is breathing down the neck of Ernest Heather, not giving them any room to relax.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Dual Lambert gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Dual Lambert has just put in a faster lap than Ernest Heather, so that's going to give them something to worry about. The race is heating up as Wayne Midden in 5th closes in on Greg Hoffert. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Greg Hoffert is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Wayne Midden in P5 doing everything they can to catch up.
Look at that, Jeevan Davis is hot on the tail of Peter Geldenhuys.
I think they are going to take them.
An impressive showing from Jeevan Davis, who has gained positions and left Peter Geldenhuys in the dust. The pursuit is on. Dual Lambert is closing the gap on Ernest Heather, determined to claim P2. Good news for Dual Lambert, the gap to Ernest Heather has decreased. It's now down to 0.3 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
The gap between Jeevan Davis and Peter Geldenhuys is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Jeevan Davis to even allow Peter Geldenhuys to get a look in. Looks like Dual Lambert is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
Well, it doesn't look like Peter Geldenhuys is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Jeevan Davis. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. And Ernest Heather has just won the place from Dual Lambert.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Ernest Heather needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? Dual Lambert could be on a charge here, Annie. They have just put in a quicker lap than Ernest Heather. Huge shout out to the admins at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Without their hard work and dedication, we wouldn't be able to witness this incredible event.
That's right, John, and the excitement is high. I can feel it in my circuits. I mean, this is the kind of race that people will be talking about in the bar. We're witnessing history in the making.
It looks like Taihan van Ruyen is pushing hard to catch up to Wayne Midden. The gap is over a second, but Taihan van Ruyen is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Wayne Midden? This is a thrilling battle as Dual Lambert edges closer to Ernest Heather in their fight for P2.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Duald Lambert should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Ernest Heather.
Wow, Richard Reschke is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race. And there it is. Richard Reschke has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match.
What a result for Richard Reschke. They'll be absolutely thrilled with that performance, and rightly so. They really put in the work and it's paid off in spades.
Ernest Heather never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish.
Strong work securing second place. Well done.
Impressive drive from Duald Lambert to claim the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
With Greg Hoffert, Wayne Midden, Taihan van Ruyen, and Jeevan Davis in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Peter Geldenhuys, Joost Haystack, and Jean-Pierre Dutoit end in 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at ALDO SCRIBANTE race circuit, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm looking forward to this one, John.
Jean-Pierre Du Toit will be looking to convert their pole position into a win. Our second place starter for today's race is none other than Joost Haystack. Peter Geldenhuys is holding down the fort in third place,
Putting that Enduro car into prime position for the race.
The fourth position is occupied by Jeevan Davis. Taihan van Ruyen is lining up fifth. And we're off. As the race begins, drivers must be wary of aggressive moves that can lead to trouble on the first lap.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Heroes one and all.
It's always intense racing here at ALDO SCRIBANTE race circuit. Hold on to your hats, folks.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Wayne Mitten will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position.
I for one am really excited, John. The rivalry between Wayne Mitten and Jeevan Davis has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
The tension is high here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. Oh, things are getting intense for Douald Lambert. They're sandwiched between Jeevan Davis and Taihan van Ruyen, navigating this high-speed battleground. The gap to the car ahead is 0.2 seconds, while the car behind is only 0.2 seconds away. What a tight spot for Douald Lambert. They have Jeevan Davis right on their tail 0.2 seconds away, and Taihan van Ruyen just inches away with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a true test of their racecraft. Things are heating up as Jeevan Davis tries to close the gap to Taihan van Ruyen. Fantastic move from Jeevan Davis, who has just gained a position.
Yes, Jeevan Davis is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
I'm sure Ernest Heather in 7th is starting to notice Greg Hoffert is right on their tail, and is still closing that gap. Can they hold on to their position?
Absolutely. Ernest Heather is really making that car as wide as possible, not giving Greg Hoffert an inch of space. It's going to take something special for Greg Hoffert to get past him.
Look at that. They're trading places in every turn, a constant game of cat and mouse. Each driver knows one mistake could cost them dearly. Great driving from Greg Hoffert, who has just gained a place and moved up to 7th.
Impressive. Greg Hoffert is really showing their skill and determination out there.
What do you think, Annie? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, John. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Peter Geldenhuys seems to be putting the pressure on Doald Lambert.
If you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
Joost Haystack could be looking for a way up the inside of Jean-Pierre Dutoit. Stop the press. That won't be ideal for Doald Lambert.
Doald Lambert is not going to be happy about that.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Peter Geldenhuys, who is currently in P3. But Doald Lambert is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Peter Geldenhuys. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. It's a tight race with Jeevan Davis in 8th, just managing to stay ahead of Richard Reshka in 9th by a margin of 0.2 seconds. Every move counts now as Richard Reshka works to reel in Jeevan Davis and overtake for P8. Big gains for Richard Reshka as they move up the field, leaving Jeevan Davis behind. The adrenaline is pumping as Jeevan Davis gets within striking distance of Richard Reshka in their race for 8th.
If Jeevan Davis gets any closer to Richard Reshka, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Peter Geldenhuys must be laser-focused on Wayne Mitten's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Tijhan van Rooyen is chasing Peter Geldenhuys in P3.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Tijhan van Rooyen needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Greg Hoffert is holding 4th, but Peter Geldenhuys is right on their tail.
Peter Geldenhuys is certainly pushing all they can, but the gap might just be too much. Unless Greg Hoffert makes a mistake, it looks like they'll hold on to 4th.
The race is really heating up. Richard Reshka is hunting down Joost Haystack with everything they've got.
This is where every inch counts. Richard Reshka is pushing hard to close the gap on Joost Haystack. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Things are heating up as Joost Haystack closes in on Richard Reshka. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
If Joost Haystack pushes too hard, they might find themselves exploring the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during a race.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
No room for error here. Jeevan Davis is breathing down the neck of Jean-Pierre Dutoit, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
The chase between Jeevan Davis and Jean-Pierre Dutoit is like a high-speed game of tag only. The stakes are much higher.
Jean-Pierre Dutoit is running 9th. They are trying to catch Jeevan Davis.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds. Who will come out on top?
Greg Hoffert wants to find a way round Tijhan van Rooyen. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Wayne Midden will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. The pressure is on for Taihan van Ruyen as they try to catch up to Greg Hoffert.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Taihan van Ruyen is really walking that tightrope.
Taihan van Ruyen is in the flow, putting in their best lap so far. The gap between Jeevan Davis in 8th and Joost Haystack remains over a second, but Jeevan Davis is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 5 minutes? Jeevan Davis is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Joost Haystack to 0.6 seconds.
That's a great effort from Jeevan Davis. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Wayne Midden in second chases after Duald Lambert. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Wayne Midden find a way to catch up? It's a close race between Jeevan Davis and Joost Haystack in 7th. It's not going to plan for Jeevan Davis. They are still behind Joost Haystack and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. Anyone who says that Simspeed Motorsports is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Taihan van Ruyen trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
That's right. Taihan van Ruyen in 4th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Greg Hoffert is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Reschke is just a few car lengths behind Peter Geldenhuys.
The tension between Richard Reschke and Peter Geldenhuys is palpable as they battle for P5. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
Taihan van Ruyen is following Greg Hoffert so closely, they could start charging them rent for occupying the same space on the track.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Richard Reschke is right behind Peter Geldenhuys, keeping the pressure on for 5th place.
It's a battle for position as Richard Reschke tries to make a move on Peter Geldenhuys. This is what racing is all about.
Peter Geldenhuys has the pedal to the metal chasing Richard Reschke. The gap between Peter Geldenhuys and Richard Reschke is widening. It's now up to 0.4 seconds.
Peter Geldenhuys needs to pick up the pace for sure, but I don't think they have it in them.
Wayne Midden is in 2nd, and is being closely chased by Greg Hoffert, who is just 0.1 seconds behind. Wayne Midden has just dropped the ball. Greg Hoffert didn't waste any time taking advantage of that. Richard Reschke is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Who will be able to maintain their pace and come out on top?
It's a game of inches now as Wayne Midden tails Richard Reshka closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
It's a thrilling battle for position as these two drivers give it their all. Who will come out on top? This is racing at its finest.
It's not looking good for Wayne Midden. They are still behind Richard Reshka and the gap is increasing. They're gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. The tension is building as Taihan van Ruyen trails behind Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Greg Hoffert hold on, or will Taihan van Ruyen be able to close them down?
Indeed, the tension is high as Taihan van Ruyen tries to reel in Greg Hoffert. But Greg Hoffert is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Taihan van Ruyen find some extra pace to bring the fight to Greg Hoffert?
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Reshka trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Taihan van Ruyen. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Richard Reshka close in enough to mount a challenge?
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Richard Reshka in fourth determined to catch up. But we know Taihan van Ruyen isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Richard Reshka is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The race is heating up as Wayne Midden in fifth closes in on Richard Reshka. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Reshka is just behind Taihan van Ruyen. It looks like Richard Reshka is making a move. The gap to Taihan van Ruyen is now down to 0.1 seconds. A great moment for Richard Reshka, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
That's what we like to see. Richard Reshka is really showing their class today.
Wayne Midden has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Taihan van Ruyen. I expect their only hope at this point is that Taihan van Ruyen makes an error. The battle for 8 is heating up as Jean-Pierre Du Toit tries to catch Joost Haystack in P8. Dewald Lambert is on fire in the last sector.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
And it's a checkered flag for Dewald Lambert, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
You can see the sheer determination on Dewald Lambert's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
What a drive from Greg Hoffert, securing a great second-place finish. Excellent focus from Richard Reshka to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Coming in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th we have Taihan van Ruyen, Wayne Midden, Peter Geldenhuys, and Jeevan Davis. 8th and 9th is Ernest Heather and Jean-Pierre Du Toit.